Hi guys, Professor Pohl back again. Let's go over week one here in the same setting. So if you were offended by nature, hopefully you're less offended now. So week one, you'll notice the presentations and the reading are both from chapters 1 and 2. Coincidence? I think not. Make sure you also do the quiz at some point during the week. Don't forget the quiz. It's worth 100 points. That's basically like breaking a leg before a football game. You're starting off with a limp points-wise, so don't do that. The assignment for this week and the threaded discussion will be related to each other. So really, once you've started the assignment, you're in a good place to do the discussion as well. So let's talk about the assignment first. Let's first talk about picking a research question. It would not hurt for you to review pages 12 and 13 of the syllabus so that you are familiar with what will be expected in the literature review as you're picking a topic. And let's just go over picking a topic here really quick. First of all, don't reinvent the wheel. This is an introductory course to research methods. And so I love the enthusiasm when people say, I've always wondered about this and I haven't seen much information on it. I haven't seen many studies done on it. And I really love the enthusiasm. I do. But that's more of a master's level and doctoral level kind of a goal. We don't want to do that in an 8-week course because you'll be writing your final paper by week 6. So you really want to pick a topic that has been well researched, and again, you'll see as we go along, but you're going to add your own research to that, and you're going to find out for yourself, have I found the same results as others? Have I found different results? Are there others who have found different results as well, and we're together in that one, right? So don't reinvent the wheel. Pick a topic that has been studied before. And remember that we want it to be a quantitative study, not a qualitative. So you will see the difference between the two in the books. Again, qualitative study, we just don't have enough time to do that. Quantitative study, we definitely do. Secondly, you'll see that it says here on week 1 you will need a total of 30 participants. You are not going to find those participants this week. That's letting you know, basically, that you will be handing out, down the road, you'll be handing out 30 surveys. And you want to get as many of those surveys back. Part of the validity of a study is that you have enough information to draw from, enough reliable information to draw from. If you pass out 30 surveys and you only get 12 back, it's not going to be a reliable or valid study. It really isn't. And I always like to use this example with people. Let's say, as you see here in the syllabus, let's say you're doing a different study with the seminary and non-seminary trained staff, but there's one church in your town, one Christian church, and it has 20 people. You're not really going to be able to administer that 30 surveys there unless you're willing to drive to the next town, right? Which is that feasible with the time that you don't have, right? So just letting you know in advance, you're going to need 30 participants. So pick something where you're confident, yes, I can find 30 people to participate in this study. Okay. I believe that is it for the criteria. I would say one last thing, actually. You'll see on the left-hand side of eCompanion there, you have the different surveys that you can use. There's already a bunch of surveys in there. When picking your topic, I highly recommend that you formulate your topic based on the surveys that are in there. So basically, when I'm going to distribute these surveys, is there a survey that's already in here? You could make your own. We would have to talk about that, and we would have to make sure it's a valid survey. If you want to put in that work, you could. Again, I would recommend, because this is an introductory course, go ahead and just use one of the surveys that's already established. And when you're thinking of your research topics and you have an idea, see if there's a survey that's already in there that you could use. Again, that makes it a lot easier on you and really makes this introductory course more introductory, therefore more beneficial to you. And let's be honest, you also have a life. And so hopefully you're not going to be spending just a bunch of extra hours trying to formulate a valid survey where you don't have to. Again, that's in line with don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, let's get you a good, solid foundation and introduction here. Those things can come later in a master's program, a doctoral program, research that you do on the side, right? All right. Then, of course, at that point, you've got those. You'll send those to me. I'm okay with the format that you send those topics to me in, I'm okay with that looking like it does in the syllabus, really. You'll see here additional requirements, 12 points, Times New Roman font, double spaced. So again, it's not double spaced in the syllabus here, but I'm fine with you organizing it exactly as the example is in here, just with 12-point font, Times New Roman, and double spaced. It makes it easier for you to organize and easy for me to see what you're doing. Okay, you don't have to write an essay. At that point for the discussion, you'll have your two potential topics. One is a difference study, one is a relationship study. You'll just share one of those, either the difference or the relationship study, with the class. And that's your opportunity for myself and for the class to interact with you, to offer encouragement, to offer ideas, to offer some nudging in the right direction if you're not already there. And we'll just basically formulate that together. That's a really great time for us to discuss our topics, to get input, and to see what other people are doing. It's always really interesting. So that will be the discussion. You'll just basically use one of those that you submitted to me or that you will submit to me. You use that for the class. You can do the discussion first. You don't have to submit the assignment before you do the discussion. In fact, I would recommend basically coming up with your ideas for each one for the assignment, then doing the discussion, and that way you really have at least one of them nailed down by the time you send it to me. And just really quick, I'll go over, it's a little bit longer of a video than other weeks will be, but I wanted to go over the difference study and relationship study idea really quick because I know that can be confusing for people. First, let's cover the difference between an independent and a dependent variable. The easiest way to look at this, and you'll see it in your reading, obviously, but I like to break things down to be as simple as possible. And so basically, the best way I've ever heard to look at it is that your independent variable is your cause, and your dependent variable is your outcome. Well, we always know that the cause has to come before the effect, before the outcome, right? So your independent variable must come before your dependent variable, right? So you'll see here in relationship study, right, which is the relationship between an independent and a dependent variable, or lack of relationship between an independent and dependent variable in one group, okay? So you'll see variable 1, alcohol use, variable 2, depression. Which one is your independent, which one is your dependent? Well, your independent here could be alcohol use. If someone uses alcohol, and varying degrees of alcohol, does that result in an outcome of depression, right? More depression with more alcohol, how does that look? So again, your cause, your independent, is the alcohol use. How does that result in depression? Does it, right? Of course, it's in one group. Here in your syllabus, it's in adolescence. I would always be careful, guys. I would not pick, quick note, I would not pick any group that's under 18 because then you have to get written consent from parents. So just thought of that now. Make sure your group that you're measuring is over 18. It gets way too complicated when we're trying to go with informed consent. Or not informed consent, but consent to work with a minor. Difference study, again, really quick wrapping up here. That's a difference between two groups with either one or more independent variables. So you'll see here in your example, you've got two groups, seminary trained staff and non-seminary trained staff. Your variable is the leadership styles. You've got two variables here, right? Seminary trained and non-seminary trained. So your groups are not what are the variables. Your variables are whether they've been trained in seminary, whether they haven't been trained in seminary, and you're going to find two different groups to match with those independent variables. The dependent, of course, being the outcome. What are the leadership styles, right? What's the leadership styles in those two groups. So let's say, for the sake of argument here, let's say you wanted to do one independent variable instead of the two that are present here. So you could just say seminary trained staff is your independent variable, leadership styles is your dependent variable, right? Cause and your outcome. And the group could be one group that you would study would be the, let's say, youth pastor, and the other would be lead teaching pastors, right? So I hope that makes some sense for you. If you guys have any questions, again, we will have the discussions, so make sure you're looking over the discussions to see what input and encouragement has been put in already, what ideas have been put in, and also don't hesitate to contact me via email. But I hope that clarifies a lot of that for you, okay? All right, have a great day, guys.